We're going to start now. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm very excited. This is the first webinar that we're going to be having for the year 2025. Okay, so what we're going to do today is that we're going to, a quick outline of what we're going to do today, a brief introduction for those that took a leap of faith and registered for this webinar. You're not sure who is Esther, what is Skill Hub, what do you do, where are you? And then I'll have a brief disclaimer, as I like to do, and then we'll get into the meat of what we're trying to do. Today we'll be speaking about Show Me the Money. Sorry, let me see. We are unlocking funding opportunities for NGOs. Unlocking funding opportunities for NGOs. I'm sure if I ask you what's happening within the context, you will have a lot to say about how your experience or what you have been experiencing in terms of fundraising for your organization. So we're going to start off with talking about where we are before we start talking about where the money is. You're asking me, Esther, show me the money. Let's talk about where we are first, and then we'll talk about where the money is, and then we will unlock opportunities. So we are Skill Hub. We are a development consulting firm. We are set to support nonprofit organizations, not just to make impact, because a lot of our organizations already make impact, but to survive and beyond surviving, to thrive, to do well, to make impact. And down the road in 20 years, 30 years, when they come, they should be able to see your organization has survived to that point. I'm Esther Hadiza Ijaku, certified project management professional. I've been in the sector for close to 25 years now, at least. And I've worked in both local and international organizations in a program, a donor-funded program, as a consultant, as a technical expert. And I will leave it at that. I don't want to overharp it. We can be friends down the line on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and we get to know each other a bit more. But this is my passion, and I started Skill Hub Consulting in 2021, and this is about 4 years of doing what we do best. So in terms of my disclaimer, what can you see on the screen? To the right, to the left? Because I showed these slides to somebody and the person was telling me, I don't know what that thing on the left is. It's a silver bullet. If you know anything about silver bullets, it's like a one size fits all, or one remedy that takes care of all your problems. Now, this is the disclaimer. This webinar will not solve all your problems. If you are like me, that traveled with night bus, or you lived in Lagos, there is no way you don't know those Agbo girls. If you are not Nigerian, these are the people that sell herbal remedies. You will see the person hold one bottle and they will tell you it cures headache, stomach ache, HIV, diabetes, kidney failure, death. It cures even death. This is not that kind of thing. What I'm trying to do, or what we're trying to do in this session, please, Justina Chidi, can you mute? What we're trying to do is to make sure that we set ourselves in a position to make progress in terms of our efforts to get funding. So let's start. There isn't much time. Where are you? That is what we're asking this afternoon. Even when you use the GPS, for those of us that use GPS to get around, the maps to get around, the first thing that the map, it doesn't care where you are going. It first of all wants to know where you are before you chart a course. So some of us jump in, we say, we need money. Where is the money? Show me the money. Where are you first? That's the question that we should ask. So in terms of finding out or identifying where you are you Do you have funding currently? Do you have no funding whatsoever? Are you a startup? Are you at the point where you are looking for money for scale up? What is it? Where are you? And then where do you want to go to? Because where you are will determine the steps that you are going to take to cross that gap to get to where you are going. I don't know if this is clear. In terms of the gap between where you are and where you want to get to, right? There has to be a plan. We are a faith-based, in fact, our population, we believe in God so much that sometimes, as some people will say, you are heavenly useful, but you earthly useless. We have so much faith that we just want to see the end from the beginning, and we don't imagine how we are going to cross from where we are to where we want to get to. So this is like a reality, a call from reality for us to get rooted and to start off from where we are to, don't worry about access to the recording. Let's listen first. Let's listen first. Imagine that there's no recording. Let me put it there. Just imagine that there's no recording, right? Okay, so to get to where you want to get to, it's good to have faith, it's good to believe, it's good to have goals, lofty goals. But how will you get there? Now, that is why we're here this afternoon. And for those of you that are just joining, thank you for joining us. So we have to come up with some kind of action plan for how to cross no funding or zero funding or dwindling funding to where we want to get to. We have to be specific about how much we need to get the job done. We all have causes. There are some causes, there are some things that we want to achieve in terms of organization. Some people just want to be able to feed orphans. They just want to raise enough money to feed a certain group of people for a certain period of time, maybe for 6 months, maybe for 1 year. Meanwhile, some people have bigger goals. They want to shift attitudes around culture. You know, that will take time. You want to reduce gender-based violence. That will take time. So we have to be specific. We have to be ambitious. We have to be realistic. When you look at the SDGs are not, you can't sleep, wake up, eat hot eba and okra soup and achieve the SDGs. You can't. It's a lofty goal, it's a big goal, and you have to work towards it piece by piece. As I'm talking, I would like you to kind of just follow me and imagine and take notes. Take notes of what you are going to do based on what we're talking about. Where is the gap? And what do you think you can do to bridge that gap? So I will start off, because I started off with a disclaimer, but I like to, because they say, as you think, there's a book, As a Man Thinketh, right? As you think, so you are. I don't think there's anybody in this world, and I will use mathematics because it's pretty common for us to say, oh, I hate mathematics. I hate maths. I don't understand maths. Have you ever seen anybody that said, I hate maths, that passes it very well? Never. It's a mindset problem. So starting off with saying, raising funds is so difficult. You are defeated before you start. You are defeated before you start. You might as well just cross your legs and forget about it. So that's a misconception, or that's a mindset that you need to shift and say, this thing is possible. The people that are getting funding, the organizations that are getting, that are sourcing and receiving donor funding, they don't have two heads. They are people like you. Now, another mindset that needs to shift is that an NGO is not a business. It makes me laugh when people say, oh, I'm not really good at business, but I want to start my own NGO. okay, you're about to get a very rude shock. They think that an NGO is, because it's charity, we're doing good. It's not business. Charity is business. I wish we were in a live class. I would tell you, look at your neighbor and tell the person, charity is business. NGO is a business. Because it has to do with investment, it has to do with resources, it has to do with getting the most out of your investments. Shift your mind. If you think if you cannot do business, then it's highly likely that you cannot run an NGO. Except if you want to do something really small that is just you doing your own thing as the spirit leads, then you are all right. Another mindset is that an NGO is a quick way of getting free money. I remember when I worked in an international organization, once I introduced myself, or I see people that I have known from way back, they say, oh, so where are you now? What are you doing? Where are you working? When I mention my organization, they say, hey, pounds, dollars. You people are the ones enjoying. NGO is not a quick way of getting free money. The money is not free. In an organization where I work, that we used to harp on value for money, they will tell you that this is taxpayers' money. If, for example, funding came from a British government or the British government, it is British taxpayers' money, and they pay tax. They are going to ask their government, where did the money go? Then being visible is all I need to attract funding. Now, this is a big one because a lot of times people have become career participants in workshops, meetings, conferences. You are everywhere. Everywhere they go, they see you. Because you think that's what will attract funding. They will see that I'm working. They will see that I'm working. You can be friends with all the donors, but there are certain things that need to be in place if you are going to get funding, and we'll talk about it. Then because we're doing charity work, we're a charity case, you have nothing to offer. We just need help. We just need help. Please help us. This is what we want to do. But you are not positioning yourself to show that you are bringing anything to the table. As young people, Gen Z will say, what are you bringing to the table? The sources I'm aware of are the only sources of funding. You think that, I know FCDO. Okay, people that knew USAID now, last year, they knew USAID. That was their major source of funding. Now they know different. Because USAID has exported itself out of the pool. When we get donor funding, we'll start proper documentation. This is a big, big issue because people think that even if you are investing just your 100,000 naira, you feel like it's not a lot of money. You have to be accountable because it's a discipline, it's practice. Is whatever you have set in place that the donor will come and look at before they give you funding. Then funding for our work can only come from international organizations. That is a mindset that we have, especially as African NGOs. We don't think outside of the box. We just think, if it's not DFID, if it's not USAID, Australia Fund, or the French government, there's no money anywhere in Nigeria. What if we just sleep and wake up and all these countries pull out of Nigeria the same way that the Americans have done? What would you do? In conclusion of our mindset and the need for a paradigm shift, we live in a VUCA world. It is volatile. That means there are changes, unexpected changes going on quickly and fast. So we have to make decisions based on information that we have now. This is the reality on ground. There's a lot of uncertainty. You have to take actions. So sometimes we are perfectionists. We want everything to be in place. I want to do this. I want to do this. When I do this, life happens. There are a lot of uncertainties and you have to be willing to take risks. If you are risk averse, then there's complexity. there are many interdependencies. I keep coming back to USAID because that's, I think, the most popular one now. Or I could say COVID. See how COVID came and just upset everything. The way I look at it is that COVID reset the world. It was like a clock that was paused. Everybody stopped. And then we started again. And now USAID has done the same thing. So other things that are dependent on it, some people, some countries that were not providing funding for Nigeria because they felt, USAID is there. All of a sudden, they're thinking about it. Oh, okay, there's a vacancy here. This is an opportunity for us to get in, to do this, to do that. And then there's ambiguity. The environment is unfamiliar, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to be willing to take some risks. When you know and you accept, you embrace some of these things, then you can now start thinking creatively around how to get the funding that you need. So where is the money, Esther? The donors themselves, there are some certain trends that I think that we should recognize. And when I say donors, I'm not just talking about international development agencies. I'm talking about money in somebody's pocket that is available for you to get to do what you want to do, to achieve your goal. I'll give you an example. I have somebody that I was supporting from last year, towards the end of last year, who had a school, or who has a school, a small school, and needed a lot of infrastructural work done, but no money to do it. And an individual who was feeling very magnanimous, end of year, I want to support people who are struggling but are working hard, gave her 1 million naira. Now, for some of you, 1 million naira is nothing, but for others, 1 million naira is something. She was able to fix some of the infrastructures that she needed. If somebody like that just needed 1 million naira decides to go and start writing proposals, because now a lot of you are here, some people are here because they expect Esther to tell us how we are going to write proposal. That lady did not need a proposal as such to a development organization. She just needed somebody who was interested and had the money, and the person gave her the money, and she has reported back and taken her pictures and sent to the person. So within the context, there's a shift of donor priorities every day. They may say, oh, we are interested in CVE, countering violent extremism. Tomorrow is GBV. Next tomorrow is, oh, we want to focus on prevention within gender-based violence, not response. Or we want to work on response, or we want to work on systems, health systems, or we want to work on behavior change. Then there's competition for limited resources. That one I don't need to tell you. Sorry, hold on a second. I want to take, Then there are limited resources. There's trust philanthropy. So for example, Jeff Bezos' wife, if she likes your organization, will just give you a whole lot of money. You don't have to tell her how you're going to, she likes what you are doing. Of course, you are going to work on that goal, but she's not going to give you a time limit, and she's going to give you a lot of money to do whatever you like, whatever it takes. So that's trust philanthropy. Then there's declining donor numbers. Just like USAID that say, oh, we'll focus on ourselves for now. Sorry, excuse us. Then inflation adjustments. Even if you got funding of $1 million in September, what your $1 million could buy in September cannot buy it now. It cannot buy now. Then regulatory and political constraints. I remember there was a state in Nigeria, was it early last year or the year before, that decided, oh, we don't want NGOs in our state anymore. We all need to leave. Regulations of saying the NGO, you remember NGO bill, that they wanted all NGOs to be registered under one particular body. and everybody pushed against it. So regulatory political constraints can actually affect the way you get funded. Then overhead, donors don't like spending on salaries, buying your laptop, your phone. They'll say, don't you have phone? Don't you have your laptop? It's just a natural thing. Then a push for coordination. No, we're not going to give A the funding. We're going to give you the funding if you can collaborate with B, C, D, and E. Then if you come together as a group, we'll give you the funding. So it's not about competition, it's more about cooperation, cooperating and petition. I don't know if you've heard that word before. Then rising individual giving. Individuals want to give. When they see a major problem, they want to give towards it. Then unrestricted giving. That's, we are open to ideas. Ideas rule the world. We're open to ideas. Then value adding. So there are some organizations that are positioned to accelerate. You have an idea that is going to change a sector, change a scene, they want to fund it. Or you have a proof of concept at a small scale and they want to scale it up. Sorry. So where is the money? That's the core question that we're still asking. The money is actually cash or in kind. Sometimes all we want is cash. Some people will say, don't give me, during Valentine's, some people will say, don't give me flowers, give me money. Flowers are expensive, but they don't want flowers, they want money. So if you think about it, that is only money that you consider a donation, then you are going to miss it, because some organizations will say, oh, we sell phones, we can give you phones. We have space, we can give you an office space. Then where is the money? The money can be in your own pocket. So a lot of founders start by funding their organizations themselves, or it can be in other people's pockets, individual pockets, community pockets, organization pockets, donor pockets, government pockets, philanthropist pockets. Then it can be direct or indirect. The money might come to you directly, or it might come through another organization. So a lot of that is happening where the bigger NGOs in Nigeria, if, for example, they have reputation, they have that convening power, they can attract donors. Instead of doing the work themselves, they will now pick, okay, let me take an organization in Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, South, like that. And then those organizations that may not have had the opportunity suddenly have an opportunity because of the indirect funding, right? Then it can be standalone or in partnership. So you get it directly to your organization, or you do it together in a consortium, a coalition, a network, or that kind of setting. Then donation or revenue generation. So revenue generation is something that we don't really think about in Nigeria. And I'll talk about the fundraising strategies. I think we have a lot of room to expand on. Are you going to ask people to donate, organizations to donate, or you will raise revenue through your own activities? So I know some organizations that sell books. I know some organizations that have event halls. So they rent it out, they raise money, and they use it for their activity. In fact, the picture that I posted in my slide to introduce myself is from an NGO, a social enterprise that runs a photo studio, and the money that comes from the photo studio is used to pay salaries for their staff and then to do some of their activities in local communities in Abuja. Then it can be through partnership or sub-granting, which I have explained further. So there are several fundraising models. I'm trying to run through this so that if we have comments or questions, I can hear from you. I can't believe it's already past 30 minutes. Self-funding is pretty clear. Membership-based is another way. if you see those community development organization or association, so your street association, or in your community, you have your own language association and all of that, and you're doing social work, members can contribute. If there are a lot of people that are interested in what you are doing, you don't have to do it alone. You can create an opportunity for people to become members, and they donate, and you do what you need to do. Grant-based, now that's the big one. Everybody, oh, I want to. When you registered for this this webinar, I asked, what would you like us to talk about? Most people said how to write proposals. Crowdfunding. When somebody says, oh, I have an organization that I was supporting in Sierra Leone. I don't know if their ED is here. He was supposed to join us. They wanted to raise money to send young mothers, teenage moms who had dropped out of school. They wanted to send them back to school. They wrote WAEC, they passed, and then now they didn't have money for university. And they just asked people to donate. Nothing was too small. That's crowdfunding. Community philanthropy, when you go to an organization and say, okay, we'll give this land for well, or we give this land, we give our hall, you can be having your meetings here, or we can do this, we can do that, in kind mostly. Then recurring donations. If I say, oh, every month I'm going to give you 100,000 so that you can get some of what you want to do done. I have someone that I know that's an elderly woman who has retired, set up a school in the village. So people from the village send money for orphans to go to school and be fed in school, recurring donations. Then there's the social enterprise that I talked about. Then there's corporate sponsorship, when an organization says, okay, we want to, you are having this event, okay, we will brand it. If you allow us to brand it, we'll give you 2 million. If you don't have a problem with collecting such funds, why not? You approach them and say, oh, we are going to be gathering 600, 1,000 people. Are you willing to come and brand? If you sponsorship costs are so and so, and you raise funds. Then cause-related marketing, to say, okay, for every time we sell this pen or this Ankara, 1%, 10% goes to this cause. And then endowment is when you put money aside and say, okay, the endowment fund is 500 million, invest it, then as the profit comes, we're using it. Then fundraising events, which we know that we will call all the politicians in this world and everybody to come and to raise funds for a certain cause. So, Esther, you finished talking about where the money is, how to raise the money. But we know all these things, but why is it that these opportunities are not coming to us? Why can't we access it? Why is there a gap? If you remember the first slide, or one of the first slides that I showed you, there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. So how can you unlock it? How can you bridge it? First, answer the question. Are you fundable? Are you fundable? A donor, even if it's an individual or an organization, wants to know, what is your identity? What is your vision? What are you on about? What is your cause? What are your values? So, for example, an organization can come and ask you, oh, what do you guys think about LGBTQ? You say, no, we don't do LGBTQ. We're a Christian organization. We're a Muslim organization that does not promote blah, blah, blah. They'll say, well, part of the issue is that we cannot fund anyone that is discriminating against LGBTQ. So you're out. To them, you are not fundable. Then thematic focus. What are you working on? There are organizations that are interested in gender, for example, or GBV. And you are working on sexual and you're working on reproductive health. Maybe you want to talk to young people about participating in politics. Their money is not for you. There is no alignment. Then which community are you serving? Are you serving women? Are you serving generally, or are you serving children, or are you working on a particular state? What is the scale of your work? They want to know whether it's worth the investment to put in money while you are working in, you say you are a national organization, and they want to fund something that is in a community. They may not give you. Bigger is not always better. Just do you. You need to ask. A lot of what I'm telling you is what goes into funding. Does not start when you write a proposal. Funding starts from your existence. How you frame what you do. How do you perceive the problem you are addressing? I was working with an organization to write a grant proposal, and the feedback we got was, you're focused on responding to GBV. We're not interested in that. We're interested in preventing GBV. Then what approaches are you using? You may feel like, we want to use community. We will go from community to community. Meanwhile, the organization wants you to go digital. They are willing to fund digital interventions. They are willing to fund radio programming. Or you want to do radio programming. They say, no, it's not good enough. We want you to, it's physical that we want. So it just begs the question, are you fundable? You may have a lot of friends. People say donors don't give money to organizations or causes, they give it to people. But you can be as friendly as you like. If this fundable thing, you don't tick it off, they will like you, but they will not fund you. You have their numbers. You can call them at night. You can go and eat fish with them. They will not fund you. Besides being fundable, yes, it ticks the box. There's alignment. We are aligned with you. However, are you funding ready? So that's when the microscope now comes closer to check. All those boxes are ticked. Your identity is right. Your scale, your approach is what they want. Everything. Then they now ask for requirements. When they send you requirements, now is that running helter skelter? We don't have a financial report. We don't have organogram. We have not registered with CAC. We don't have SCUMU. We don't have reports. All of a sudden now it's asking you, are you funding ready? You can be fundable, but you're not funding ready. We need to sit down and work on it. Identify donor requirements and work towards them. If you go to Google, who is your friend, and ChatGPT, who is your best friend, and ask, what are the typical or the requirements that donors usually ask for, it will tell you. And you just need to go through the list and do your homework. There's this funny story that my father used to tell, that somebody who used to pray every day, oh God, let me win the lottery, let me win the lottery, let me win the lottery. When God got tired, he came down and tapped the person, said, my son, you'll be asking me to win the lottery, no problem. Okay, buy tickets now. Buy lottery tickets. At least buy and scratch Bet Naija. So then I will make you win. We are not ready. We're not buying the tickets. Set up your organizational structure and systems. Evidence of previous efforts and impact, no matter how small. No matter how small, document it. Take pictures. Some of us are more righteous than others. We don't want to, no, I don't want to make a big deal out of it. When they ask you to be, them say that you tell them. Do you have demonstrable competence? That means you have to show evidence that, this thing, if it comes to advocacy on pushing for a law, for example, VAP law, we have done it before. we can do it again. Then you need to acquire technical skills for fundraising. Now, I'm not saying technical skills for your cause, for what you are doing. You may be an expert in your field, but you don't know anything about fundraising. Acquire technical skills needed for fundraising. Like you now attending this meeting is the first step. This is 1 hour. We've already spent about 45 minutes of 1 hour. So you can imagine. Having a cause and solutions are not enough for fundraising, because you have to be funding ready. That's basically what I'm saying in this. We need to unlock opportunities first by getting visible. Have you heard the saying that you're winking in the dark? I have this thing that I do in trainings that I show them a blank screen, a black screen. And I ask them, what's the guy in the screen doing? People will look and say, is it my eyes? I said, me, I can't see anything. I said, no. Somebody is there. Tell me what he's doing. That's what some of us are doing. You are doing great work, but nobody knows. The right people don't know. How can they support you? Get visible. Social media is cheap in terms of the value it will bring for you. It takes nothing. People that registered for this thing, a lot of them have not met me before. Thanks to social media, I got visible and they registered, and many of them did not come. But you are here because I got visible. Build key relationships for partnership and support. Let's be intentional about the relationships that we build. Sometimes people, you go for a meeting and everybody makes a beeline for the person that came from the donor organization. Hey, please, can I have your card? Please, can I have your card? Meanwhile, that organization may not fund small organizations like yours directly. The other person that will be like the lead in a consortium is sitting in the room. You did not identify and you did not collect that person's number. You're wasting your time. What I'm saying is that identify relationships that you need to build. Like right now, sit down and think, which relationships do I need to build? Who should I be writing an email to introduce myself? Who should I take out for coffee? Seems like all these donor people, they like coffee. Who should I be following on LinkedIn? Sometimes we go on Instagram, instead of us to look at things that are in our field to make connections. Somebody posts something really nice, but we are stingy with our likes and we're stingy with our comments. A lot of the things that there's a key part of Skill Hub Consulting, which we call the 3x8 NGO framework, which is just 12 quiz questions that you ask that will tell us your strengths, your weaknesses, and everything for capacity strengthening. It was somebody that helped me think it through. Why? I made a comment on his post on LinkedIn. He's in faraway Brazil. Never seen him with my 2 eyes, except in video. Because I took the time to make a comment. Create opportunities for easy alignment with donors. If, for example, you are raising funds for a particular thing. A friend of mine raised funds for chairs for a school that did not have furniture. He just went to a carpenter, asked him, if we want to make 100 chairs, how much for each one and everything, and made it easy for people to say, okay, this is how much a chair costs, this a bench costs, this is how much a table costs. And people will say, okay, I'll do 3. Make it easy for people to align with you. Make your information friendly for people to align with you. And then actively seek opportunities. After this, if you complete, and Emmanuel, I think maybe you should drop the link. If you complete our feedback form, and we get your feedback form, we will send you what we have collated. So we have collated opportunities, calls for proposals that are due within the next 3 months that we will email to you. You don't have to do the homework yourself. Your own is to look through it and see where your organization lies, and you can start from there. But we'll only send to those that complete our feedback forms. I'm sure it's not going to be too difficult to do. When people seek opportunities, like now that we're going to send you this document, you feel it. Yes, it's good. But we keep collating it and we don't apply. Or we start applying or it gets too hard. And we say, please, I beg these people, this fundraising, I cannot even do it. Because they're asking me questions that I don't know. They'll say, oh, okay, give us your log frame, theory of change, do a concept note, do this. Instead of taking the time to go and sit on YouTube or get the training that you need, skill up. We will not say, I beg, this one is not for us. I think when I go for the next meeting, I'll just beg them, please help us. And then you go and you play on Facebook, and you play on Instagram, and you watch movie on YouTube. This is where I'm going to stop. Emmanuel, please share the link, and then I will open it up because I'm keen to get questions. This is just 10 more minutes that we have. I will stop sharing and I'll take questions. Please, if you have a question, a comment, can you raise your hand or put it in the chat if you're somebody who would prefer to do that? Comment, question, Emmanuel, I don't see the link. Habib, please, you can unmute and go ahead.
All right.
Sorry, Habib, I can't. You are very low. Hello. Can you all hear Habib? Habib. Okay, go ahead. Anyone else? Hello. Can you hear me? Thank you, Blessing. All right, Rufina, thank you for confirming. Any comment, any question? We only have a few minutes to go. Okay, Emmanuel has posted the link. Yes, it's there. It's there, Blessing. Okay. Ehi, please go ahead. You can unmute and go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Esther. Good afternoon and well done. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So this was really nice, though I joined halfway, and the part I, got was quite insightful and informative. Some of them I knew, but some of them I was just laughing and saying, oh, okay. Thank you so much. So I'm just wondering, I know we don't have time. Are you going to share the slides as well? I just want to know if that would be possible. Thank you.
I was thinking about it. We are going to share a link to the video. Maybe not the slides, but you might get the content, especially because you joined us a bit late. So we might share the video, but maybe not the slides. But the slides are in the video anyway, so you'll see it. Thank you.
All right, that will. Thank you so much.
Habib, I see your question. You said, what is, as an organization, what if as an organization, you are yet to implement a project or an initiative, how do you get people to buy in? You need to sit down and think of what you can do. You know how they say somebody will only help you when they, in my mother's language, they will say, the person that will help you wants to see that you put your hand to carry something on your head, then they will run and come and help you. Clean slate does not work, because you cannot say that there's nothing, absolutely nothing that you can do. There is something you can do, even within the minimal resources that you have. If it's an advocacy, go and do an advocacy in the community. If it is something on social media, do it. If it's posts, do that. There's something that you can do. You cannot tell me that you are clean slate. That means if money does not come, that means you are not, the cause is not moving you enough. You are not creative enough. If the thing is important enough, you will figure out how to do something within the resources that you have. Because the truth is that help comes to those who are working. That's the truth. So you've just started the organization, but you can figure out what to do to get some traction and to show your competence and your experience before the funding comes. I hope that helps you. Any other comments, questions?
Yes, thank you very much. That was quite helpful and very insightful.
All right. Thank you, Habib. Anyone else? This is not about grant writing. This is about being fundable and being funding ready to unlock opportunities. Opportunities are a million. They are all over the place. They are all over the place. There are opportunities. If it's that one, there are opportunities. All you need to do is browse online. Then why are we not getting those opportunities? Why are we not accessing it? We need to unlock it by being fundable and ready for funding. Emmanuel, can you please help me drop my LinkedIn URL? Oh no, drop the Skill Hub URL. From Skill Hub, you definitely see me. Gladys, did you want to make a comment? Okay. Any other comment or question? Please complete our Google Forms, and then we'll be sure to email to you the document we put together of available opportunities, current opportunities for proposals, calls for proposals that we found. You can look for us at skillhub.consulting or Skillhub Consulting rather on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Look for me, Esther Hadiza Ijiaku, and look for the organization as well. Emmanuel has dropped the link. Follow us. And by the way, we intend to do this on so we're going to have another webinar on a relevant area to support. Any other question? Okay, I'll just ask for a favor before everybody goes. Can we just please have your videos on so that we can take a screenshot? Manuel, are you ready? Please. I see Ini, Ihoma, Darren, Moses, Eddie, Tina, Patricia. Okay. Gladys. Thank you so much. And please look out for our newsletters, look out for our other opportunities, feedback for. Oh, I like your smile. Yes. You just popped in briefly. Look out for our next opportunities that are going to come. Next month, we're going to have another training. And in our form, please tell us if you want us to work on something in particular, to have a session. Yeah. And if it's not me, it will be somebody else. I will not hold this. On that note, I think I would say we have done well. This is just short of an hour, 59 minutes. I would like to say thank you for joining us, and I look forward to having you join us on another webinar on another topic that will serve our community, which is non-profit organizations. Well, that's it. I'm Esther Adizai, and I want to thank Ini, who is our associate, and Emmanuel, the communications assistant, who badgered people. And you have to join. Emmanuel and Ini, well done. Thank you and have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.